It's the internet, you're busy, so I want to give you a quick review of the Razer Blackwidow version 2 keyboard. This is Razer's latest mechanical keyboard. It is an upgrade over its previous Blackwidow. Like it's doing with all its other products, it's introducing a V2, which is just a sort of a refreshed version of the same product. I've been using it for a few weeks now, and I want to report that I'm very happy with it. It's a very good keyboard. I believe I'm using the Razer orange or Razer yellow switches. I'll double check that here in a second. But basically, it's the quieter version of the switches, without being the quietest version. It's still relatively silent compared to some of the keyboards I've been using otherwise, and that's been very useful. Here, I'm pressing it right now, and you can kind of hear it in the back there. But picking key switches is a thing that everyone's going to have their own opinions on how to do best. I can report that these are functional, they're quick to respond, they're great for gaming, they get the job done, and they are relatively silent. For you, you may want something clicky. You might be in an office with a lot of other people, so you do want the silent ones. Figuring that out is kind of on you. I can only tell you so much about keyboard switches. I can say that I believe this is what Razer usually does: is they work with a third-party vendor. They rebrand it as a Razer version while doing some of their own magic to it, and they're bringing it to market as a Razer version of a switch. I could tell you that I believe that it's compatible with Cherry MX switch keycaps. So if you want to bring something like that over to this keyboard, that's going to work fine. So you're not going to be stuck in some Razer ecosystem with this keyboard. But with kind of those things out of the way, let's get into what I like. Let's start, I'm going to do a little typing right here to kind of give you a little bit more of what it sounds like. So let's get into what I like after we drop these details. It's $170. It's shipping now. You can get it in a variety of flavors. It does have the green switches, the yellow switches, and I believe orange. I believe that's right. And those are just the three flavors of whether or not you're going to have a quick actuation, a quick and some a clicky and somewhat silent actuation, or a clicky and loud actuation. I think I'm using the clicky and silent, and like I've said, it's getting the job done for me. But what I really like is that it's good for both typing and for gaming. So it's a mechanical keyboard. That means you're going to get that reliability, that durability, that predictable pressing action that you want from a mechanical keyboard. At the same time, you're going to be able to take this into gaming, and you're going to have that huge rollover, protection. So you're not going to have key presses get eaten up by the game. I think it might have full key rollover protection, but I think it has at least, the minimum that you want, which is at a certain point, it's like a 10 key rollover. As long as you're meeting that threshold, anything beyond that, it's kind of absurd that you're going to need anything more, and you shouldn't, and you won't. And it meets that threshold. But in gaming, I found it to be comfortable. It comes with this magnetic wrist rest, and I'm just going to town on this with no problems. It feels great. It's got a nice weight to it, so it's not moving around my surface when I'm really laying into it with my fingers during an intense gaming session. And I'm happy with it. I'm going to lift it up here. I'm going to try to show you without hitting the microphone. I'll try to bring in a B-roll footage. It's a sturdy, substantial keyboard, and you can understand why it is Razer's top of the line keyboard. Why this is their 170, price range. It has many of the features that you want. It has the macro keys on the left side, a very solid addition to ensure that you can quickly add functionality that you want. I just have taskbar or the task manager set to M1, macro 1. I hit that, it pops up. I get my task manager. I've set some other utilities to some of these other buttons. I like that. What I really like, though, one of the best features I think of the keyboard is that it has a fully functioning USB pass-through. So I've used some other keyboards that have a USB pass-through for charging. This is a full functioning, plug in any USB device into the keyboard and it'll function like it's supposed to. I really appreciate that because if I'm going to be running a cord from my keyboard to my computer, Why not have it have 2 prongs on the other side and give me a secondary USB port closer to where I'm sitting? Because there are a lot of things I just want to plug in right here in my workstation as opposed to going over to the computer over here on the side of the desk and plugging it in there. I have 4 USB ports here on the front of my computer, but there's a bunch more in the back. I could just plug this keyboard into the back and get basically a 5th USB slot up front in my work area. I love that. It also has a USB, or not a USB, an audio pass-through. So you could plug the keyboard into your audio jack headset plug port on the computer, and then you get that right here. It's right here on the side. There's the USB port. There's the audio port. And, you could plug headphones into there. You could plug this in, honestly, you could plug this into the microphone port and plug a microphone into here as well. And it just works. It's great. I really like it. But as a keyboard, it's really solidly built. It's sturdy. It feels nice. It's kind of what you want from a keyboard that you're going to be using in more than one situation. This is not just for gaming. This is not just for work. It can do both, and it does both really well. I think let's kind of go from that into what I don't like. The big things are it has no dedicated media buttons. There's no play, pause, or volume. And I think with the USB and the audio jack ports, it'd be nice if I had like a roller here to control the audio volume. That's not here. That's a bummer. You can do the function keys and the volume on here. I like to have the dedicated keys, especially on a keyboard that is. It's not the biggest keyboard, but it's also not insubstantial in terms of the square footage it's taking up on your desk space. The other only thing I don't like is I think the macro keys, while functional and useful and something that I've been putting into practice myself, they are too easy to hit a lot of the time, especially this M5 key. I'll be going down to hit Control Z, and my pinky will sort of go a little bit too far, and it'll find itself on the M5 key, and the M5 key doesn't feel that much different from the Control key, and I'll end up pressing that instead, and I don't have that set as a macro because I hit it so often that something like a million things would be opening every time I'm trying to do some word processing. So I've decided to not use that, and I think that's kind of a problem. It seems like a wasted space. It would be nice if they could maybe give a different texture to those keys. Now, I can add my own keycaps, of course. That might be the solution, but out of the box, it's something that I've discovered is a problem. Beyond that, though, this is a fine device, a fine keyboard, one that I'm happy with, one that I think everyone's going to be okay spending the money on. I think me personally, I will go back to using the Razer Ornata sort of hybrid mechanical / membrane keyboard. I've been really happy with that. I like the clicks. It's got a faux mechanical click that I'm totally okay with. That's just me, though. Again, keyboard switches is a thing that you need to discover for yourself, what you like and what you don't. For me, this is great. It's a good keyboard. It's just not it's not the one that I'm going to use day to day, but I don't think there's no one reason why it can't be yours. It is a very good keyboard still. I just happen to prefer the functionality, the sort of the action of pressing keys on the Ornata. That's just me, though. Okay, everybody, thanks for watching. Again, Jeff Grubb. You can get more of me on gamesbeat.com. I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks. I'll see you around.